my theory is that most of mental health problems, I'd say 99% of them, and this is just theory, comes from our detachment from what is natural to us.
Mm.
By natural, I mean specifically, let's say, for example, it's a very contentious one, but hunter-gatherer style of living, right?
Yep.
And if you look at animals who are placed into captivity, like into zoos, they experience something called zoochosis.
Yep.
And zoochosis is the symptoms of,
They're rocking and stuff, isn't it?
yeah, so like rocking, self-mutilation, biting their skin, all types of things like this that you see in humans as well.
Yeah.
And the reason they're experiencing that is because they're taken out of their natural environment and put into a zoo.
Yeah.
So I wonder how much we've put ourselves into a zoo. We think this is how we're supposed to live and we're used to it, but something just doesn't quite feel right. There's that itch that isn't scratched. And what is that?
Mm.
And it's like, well, I need to get on medication, I need to do this. I'm not saying it's good or bad. I'm just making an observation.
Mm.
Then we think we need to do this or that. And we start doing things, we start creating systems around bandages as opposed to looking at the root cause, first principles thinking, right? So that's my theory, is that to a degree we're living in a level of zoochosis, and that our primal nature, being that of, if you're angry, for example, you might go hunting, or you might go for a run, like you might just sprint through nature. And we can do that now, of course. I'm not saying you can't. I'm just saying it's that was the access. Or, let's say, for example, you had a rough day. You didn't catch the thing that you wanted to catch, where it might be. Yeah. And the nighttime, you sit around the campfire, or the fire, I should say, not camp, because you wouldn't be camping, it's just fire. And you're sitting there, and then, you're maybe laughing with your friends, you're hugging, you got the human touch, your feet. If you're in a, more climatic appropriate environment, your feet are on the ground. Yeah, you have the orange, the red rays of light coming from the fire. Yep. It feels like, does it feel like we have lost that in modern civilization?
Well, we're probably, if we're I know we're all in a transition, and we're all part of evolution. If we look back at this period a couple hundred years from now, so but you're right. I feel like we're in a pretty elevated transition at the moment between who we were and who we weren't, and with technology and the first industrialization and then technology, we've gone through some major changes in a couple of generations, and trying to keep up with that as human beings is not easy. So there's really no mystery as to why we have so much unsettledness, troubled mental health concerns. It all makes sense, really. What I'm hoping for is that the pendulum will swing back towards what is still humanly natural, and that is to connect and care and with compassion and love and community. That seems to be where it's the stuff that people are noticing. There's a Dr. Wayne Dyer and Eckhart Tolle. There's a couple of people that I've read a fair bit of, and they talk about us losing the now, and if we're unsettled or we're not feeling, or we're stressed, then we've sort of lost the now, and we've lost that groundedness and that mindfulness around what's happening right now, spending a lot of time in the past or the future. But once again, because I'm a great advocate for human resilience, I see us coming through well. That's what I'd like to think anyway.